Happy Monday, everybody. My name is Brandon Rosa, and welcome to episode 134 of the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. Every Monday, this podcast covers new game releases, the previous week's gaming news, and we all learn an Xbox-related fun fact together. The show is on YouTube and podcast services around the world, so please subscribe on your favorite and leave a review. Xboxin10.com, no numbers, is your quick source for links to all of our podcast destinations and social media profiles, which you can follow at Xboxin10. To start, let's talk game releases. The big games out last week included Among Us, Assassin's Creed Crossover Stories, and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Interesting. The games coming out this week include Lacuna, Winter Sports Games 4K Edition, Horatio Go Snowboarding, In My Shadow, Vegas Tales, and Tunnel of Doom. A couple of Game Pass announcements. Available now on Cloud Console and PC, you can play Ben 10 Power Trip, Broken Age, Firewatch, go play that, The Gunk, Lake, Mortal Kombat 11, Paw Patrol Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay, Race with Ryan, Records of Lidos War, Deedlit and Wondereth Labyrinth, and Transformers Battleground. A couple of games also got some touch controls out of them for Xbox Cloud Gaming. They include Astria Ascending, Backbone, Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, Dicey Dungeons, Fae Tactics, I Am Fish, One Step from Eden, Ring of Pain, Sable, and The Gunk, which did launch also into Game Pass on December 16th and this past week. Sorry about missing that. Now on to last week's biggest news stories, and we have 5 to cover this week. Number 1, Halo Infinite adjusts Battle Pass challenges again to improve progression. Jared Moore at IGN writes, 343 Industries has once again tweaked Halo Infinite's Battle Pass challenges in order to further improve the game's multiplayer progression. Changes include adjustments to the weighting of individual challenges, a number of mode-specific activity challenges removed entirely, and a collection of new challenges and playlists. As per a blog post on Halo Waypoint, 343 has announced that it has added a collection of brand new challenge types that players will be able to compete across a span of new playlists: Team Slayer, Free For All, Tactical Slayer, or SWAT, and Fiesta. The new challenge types are Personal Score, accumulate personal score in the specified playlist to complete; Kills, earn the required number of kills in a specific playlist; Double Kills, earn double kills in a specific playlist; Complete Games, play and compete games in a specific playlist; and win games in a specific playlist. Quote, we understand the inability to pick a specific mode to coincide with a specific challenge can be frustrating, end quote, acknowledged 343. Quote, today's changes should help reduce some of that friction in the near term as the longer term work continues, end quote. It's good to see them make these changes. These are all positive. We as the players want options. It's crazy that they would offer challenges in the Battle Pass for specific modes, but then you can pick that specific mode. We're getting closer to the puzzle, and do give them credit. The game has just been out over a month into beta, and barely out for full release. 343 has responded quick and well, and I give all the teams over there some credit. Number 2, Ivor and Cassandra will meet face-to-face in a free event coming to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla. Logan Plant at IGN writes, Ubisoft is supporting Assassin's Creed Valhalla with a second year's worth of content, and it kicks off later this week, with a big crossover event featuring the return of a fan-favorite character from the Assassin's Creed franchise. A free content update is coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as well as the previous game in the series, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, on December 14th, that unites the two timelines. Odyssey protagonist Cassandra will cross paths with Valhalla protagonist Ivor in a new event called Assassin's Creed Crossover Stories. The event includes a new quest in both Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where the encounter between the two characters will be a playable quest. The crossover event means the Viking era of Assassin's Creed Valhalla will come face-to-face with the ancient Greek setting from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This quest event is a collaboration between Ubisoft Quebec and Ubisoft Montreal. The devs say they may continue to explore the idea of different classic Assassin's Creed characters meeting each other in new ways. I gotta admit, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan at all. The only one I ever really played was Odyssey for about 10 hours, and I loved it, but it was just too much game for me to play at the time, so I never finished it. Having said that, everyone enjoys a good crossover. Let's keep them coming. Number 3, Ubisoft announces Splinter Cell remake. Wesleyan Poole at Eurogamer writes, Ubisoft has announced it's working on a Splinter Cell remake. The remake is in development at Far Cry 6 lead studio Ubisoft Toronto and is being built on Ubisoft's Snowdrop engine, the same engine used to develop Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora and Ubisoft's upcoming Star Wars game. Ubisoft said to expect, quote, new generation visuals and gameplay and the dynamic lighting and shadows the series is known for, end quote. In a blog post, producer Matt West said the remake is, quote, in the very earliest stages of development, end quote. Quote, what we're trying to do is make sure the spirit of the early games remains intact in all of the ways that they gave early Splinter Cell its identity, end quote, West said. Quote, "So as we're building it from the ground up, we're going to update it visually as well as some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectations, and we're going to keep it linear, like the original games, not make it open world," end quote. It's been 19 years since the first Splinter Cell game came out in November of 2002, and 8 years since the release of the last mainline Splinter Cell game, Ubisoft Toronto's 2013 entry Blacklist. Rumors of the series' return have rumbled since then. Finally, Splinter Cell is officially set to return. This is awesome to hear. Splinter Cell is a beloved game that has just gone dark for so long, and we really don't understand why with Ubisoft. I personally loved Chaos Theory back in the day, and more recently, I personally loved Conviction back on the 360. I thought it was brutal, I thought it was great, it was fun, we need more of those kind of games. Number 4. Hello Neighbor 2 delayed into 2022, beta will show off open world. Jared Moore at IGN writes, Hello Neighbor 2 has been pushed back to an unannounced date in 2022. Publisher Tiny Build has announced that pre-orders will begin in April, and that an upcoming beta will show off some of the game's open world. According to the publisher, pre-orders for the stealth horror sequel will go live from April 7th, 2022. The last time we heard about the game's release, it was due for 2021, meaning it's received quite a delay. As well as to ensuring that they'll be able to play the game at release, fans pre-ordering Hello Neighbor 2 will also receive access to the game's beta when it releases. While a release date is yet to be announced, the studio has said that those accessing Hello Neighbors 2 beta will be able to explore a good part of the game's fictional town, Ravenbrooks. Elsewhere in the announcement, the publisher also shared a short trailer for the game. Now, Hello Neighbor is just one of those games that I know is huge, and I have really no idea actually what it is. Happy for the huge community out there, sucks that they're going to delay it into 2022, but release the game when it's ready, and I'm sure the players will appreciate it. And number 5, Power On, the story of Xbox releases. Tina Summerford at Xbox Wire writes, Power On, the story of Xbox, is now available to watch for free worldwide. The 6-part docuseries takes you back to the scrappy beginnings at Microsoft, where a passionate group of renegades with a hugely entrepreneurial spirit kicked off the first generation of Xbox. As we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Xbox this year, we invite you behind the scenes for the first ever comprehensive and authentic history of Xbox, where you hear directly from the team that lived through the compelling and challenging 20-year journey. Each episode covers a different chapter of Xbox history, from its humble beginnings within Microsoft, to the design behind the original prototype console, to heartbreak challenges like the Red Ring of Death, to Microsoft's attempt to acquire Nintendo in 2000, and so much more. This docuseries will also be a nostalgic walk down memory lane for those who have been Xbox players since day one, and an eye-opening origin story for those who are new to gaming. All 6 episodes are now available to watch for free on a variety of video platforms, including Redbox, YouTube, IMDb TV, the Roku channel, Microsoft Movies and TV, and others. The series is available in 30 languages, along with audio descriptions in English to enable players around the world to enjoy the story. I think this is so cool, and I can't wait to jump in. If you're a bit of a gaming nerd, history fan, love video games, I think we owe it to ourselves to learn a little bit more about the history of Xbox, and I do hope it's good. As always, we end our show with a fun fact about Xbox, and as we get near the end of 2021, we're going to do just a bunch of rapid-fire statistics. Credit to Dan G at techjury.net. And here we go. There will be 3 billion video gamers by 2023. The gaming industry made a revenue of $179.7 billion in 2020. Gaming consoles will make $60.8 billion in 2022. 244 million Americans played video games in 2020. Xbox Live had 90 million monthly users in 2020. Xbox One's revenue went up by 65% in 2020. The Xbox Series X launch has seen a 51% revenue increase in 2021. What does this all mean? Just some fun numbers, but what it does mean is Xbox and video game and the industry is alive and well and here to stay. Thank you all for listening to the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. If you like the show, please do me a favor, subscribe to your podcast service and leave a review. Also, go tell your friends, get them to subscribe to the show, leave a review, it all helps me out greatly. This past week I've been in the process of moving, so I have had no time to play video games, which is very upsetting, but I do mean to get back into that Halo Infinite campaign. I liked my time in the first 2 hours, I need to get out there and explore more. My name is Brandon Rosa, you can follow me on Xbox at Brosa93. I hope you all have a great week, stay safe, and keep on gaming.